Hi all, welcome back to Beanie Composter. It's been a busy month with waste going in the hot bin, and because we've been putting in waste pretty much almost every day, the temperature's been right up to, around 60 degrees, so really good. And that's been happening, all the time since I last emptied it. But I thought it's been about 30 days now since I last emptied it, so I thought it'd be a good time to do a video on 30-day compost, what it looks like and what you're going to get when you open the hatch. We've been running at around about 60 degrees. Today it's gone down because I didn't, yesterday was raining quite a bit, so I didn't come out and put any in. But I'm going to put some in. I'm going to put some in today and just top that up. The last time we emptied the hot bin was the 60-day compost, which if you look on the videos, that's about 30 days ago. I sort of made a few suggestions while we were making some other videos that, when you're emptying it, to use some tarpaulin. So as I was doing, one of the compost videos, I realised we still had this old bit of flooring that I'd been using. So today I'm going to put that down just at the front, and then use my trusty tray and then my raking stick, and we'll see what we're going to get out. You know the drill, guys. Cam belt straps off first. When you take your front panel door off, I did think if you've got like a damp cloth, just with some water, you could clean your hatch door before you start emptying it, and then that way when you go to put it all back together, it's already cleaned up for you and you don't have to worry about that. Moment of truth, guys, I haven't seen this yet, so this is 30-day compost. Let's have a look. So, by the way, guys, this is probably the only time me and the missus get intimate, as in it's so tight here. So here we go. So we've got a few ants again, so they've come back. On the door we've got, this is what I mean, if you've got some water there, you can let that sort of dry somewhere safe. So we've got the dreaded ants nest there again. The compost is looking okay. They do say on the hot composting website that 30-day compost is probably good for mulching. We'll take it out and see what it's like. It looks like, not too bad from what I can see initially. It's still got quite a bit of heat in there. I don't know if that's coming out on camera, whether you can see the actual steam that's coming off it in the bucket there. So in the 60-day compost video, I did say about in the centre you tend to get like some dry stuff, which looks like almost like charcoal-y, or maybe not even rotted down. And we have the same here, where it's been sort of working, really hot. The middle bit tends to stay really dry and doesn't really break down as much. You can see here we've got bits of cardboard that haven't really rotted down because it hasn't been sort of moist right in that center part. I'm going from one side first. Now we're going to go from this side. It's probably not going to be very easy for you to see because of the light, but I'm just going right to the back. Around the edges is quite, you know, quite wet, but the middle bit, as I say, is very dry. So as you know, as you can see, if it's coming out on the camera, the middle bit is actually very, you know, almost dry, like, you know, like the bulking agent. It's just quite woody and not damp at all. It's like bone dry. It's going to collapse as well. So this is like what I said about that almost charcoaly effect that you get. It's still very, you know, warm to the touch. There's not many worms in here this time, so, you know, there was a few ants, but not many worms. That's about as far as I'm gonna take, you know, before I think, oh, it's gonna, you know, probably collapse. Just check all your holes have got, like, you know, nice and clear. When you're emptying this hot composting bin, it's good to be well prepared. So I've got that damp cloth, so I'm just gonna make sure, you know, I'll wipe all the edges, make sure, as I always say, there's nothing that's gonna sort of make you know, a bit of wood that's stuck in there that's going to end up getting pressed in and affecting your compost bin, and also preventing, you know, a nice tight seal. So make sure that's all nice and clean, and you know, the hatch lid, if you've done that before, as you took it off, that should be all sort of nice and clean. So just, you know, get that ready, and that can just sort of go back on, and you can, you know, put the cam straps back on and have a bit of a tidy up. If you saw the 60-day compost video, then you would have seen what happens if you take too much out of the bottom. You have it all collapse and you end up with just mess and, you know, compost everywhere. So today's video, I've shown you what sort of stage to leave your compost core, so you end up with keeping things quite nice and neat and tidy, and emptying it's not really such a drama. So this is what we've emptied out. We've got, you know, quite a lot's come out considering it's only a 30-day compost. When I'm looking through it, I can see, you know, stuff like maybe bits of cardboard that haven't, you know, broken down sufficiently if you wanted to use it as compost. But for mulching, you know, there's nothing wrong with that for mulching around your borders. I would put this into some, you know, compost bags or bin liners with holes in, and then I would just store that like as it is, and just let that naturally break down over the next few months. But for me, this video was more about what comes out of the compost in 30 days, and I think you'll agree, if everything, you know, you follow the guidelines, you're going to get pretty good mulching sort of compost. And, you know, we've gone through quite a lot of stuff there. And yeah, you've got some stuff that, you know, like bits of cardboard that haven't broken down, but in general, that's more than good enough to use as a mulch. These two bags here, if you come and have a look, that's what I've done with the compost that we've taken out today. That's the 30-day compost. A few ants are still in there, but I'm just gonna like keep them covered. There's holes in the bag because they're old compost bags anyway, and they can just sit there until I'm ready to use it. When you have emptied your compost bin and you've put all the cam straps back on, then I did put some fresh waste in at the beginning. I'm just going to give that a stir up and make sure, you know, all the stuff falls back to the bottom, because you had that massive gap. You'll see it just all fall down like that. So just give it all a nice little stir up. Join me on the next video where we'll hopefully be looking at solving that ant problem. So a final summary on the bench. Would I leave my compost for 30 days and then empty it? Probably not, because, you know, I had space in the compost bin where I was I could still get stuff in there, and I could continue to leave that for probably maybe another 30 days with it breaking down and putting like the amount you should do into it. If I had more space in the garden and I had like one of those Dalek composters, then I think, you know, you could empty that into, you know, out of your hot bin and put that into your, you know, your Dalek, and let that compost, you know, next to your hot bin or wherever you need to put it, and that would be really good. I mean, if you want to use that for mulching, it's perfectly fine, but for me, 30-day compost, is it really 30-day compost? Well, not really. If we were starting the hot bin from scratch, and we put everything in there and left it for 30 days, we wouldn't be creating results like this. So really, some of that compost has already started breaking down from, you know, the initial top part. So some of it won't have done, but generally that's had longer than 30 days. But for me, it just goes to prove that you can actually take compost out your hot bin if you follow all the guidelines within 30 days. I wouldn't say it's usable for like potting like the 60-day one, but it's still more than adequate. And if you feel like your hot bin's getting full, you can take it out within 30 days and just put that to one side to carry on breaking down. Also, go and look at our 60-day compost video, because that one shows, you know, a bit more in depth. Make sure once you've emptied your compost bin that you tidy up nice and, you know, tidy. Make sure there's no food scraps around so it doesn't attract vermin and that, and just, you know, keep it all nice and neat. Emptying the hot bin isn't the cleanest jobs, and as you can see, you always get a little bit dirty. Well, the missus did say she likes it a bit dirty, but I don't think she means the old knees. So until, you know, I'm best off I get a shower now. She's laughing like crazy. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button or subscribe, or even better, have a pop over to our Beanie Chef channel and see the delights we're cooking on there. But until next time, happy composting and enjoy.